Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Sunday Advanced Bible Study, the 12th of July, 2026. Okay, our main topic will be it's an urgent warning that's been sent out by Oprah Winfrey. So we're gonna look at that and rightly divide it, and we're gonna talk about it, break it down. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, get the meat out. These videos that lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Uh, it'd be greatly appreciated, okay? We have our Cash App at the bottom of the screen for those that want to support this channel and help it move along, okay? That too would be greatly appreciated, okay? For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called book of remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer and our Deliverer, the Lord of Hosts. Okay? This channel was created to aid and assist our Hebrews who are waking up to their true identity in these last days. And in these last days and understanding who their true identity is and understanding who their Savior and their Redeemer truly is. Shalom and welcome to this channel, okay? And welcome to our Sunday Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, okay? And prayer, Psalms. We have some current events, some need to know information, okay? And then we'll open it up, then we'll go to our dialogue. And then our topic for discussion is the urgent warning I was just talking about from Oprah Winfrey. And then we got our scripture reading that we'll be reading out of the book of Numbers. Excuse me, 5 chapters. We're going to Numbers chapters 26 through 30. Then we're going to read and break those chapters down. Okay, then we'll pick a scripture like we normally do. We'll break that scripture down. Then we're going to close out. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before thee this day, bow down, honoring you, praising you, and believing in you. And we thank you for your wisdom and knowledge that you have poured out upon us. And through your prophets, you reveal the times that we as Jacob's children would endure. Keep us, O Lord, and guide us and deliver us. And we see you now within the Holy Scriptures, O Lord, and we trust you with all our heart and our soul. Keep not that silent, but shine forth on our enemies with thy power and thy great glory. Peace be unto you. Okay? Read the Psalms right quick. Okay? Okay, I'll read Psalm 63. It's God satisfied the thirsty soul. Okay? It's a Psalm of David. Okay? O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where there is no water is, to see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary, because thy loving kindness is better than life. My lips shall praise thee. Thus will I praise thee while I live, and I will lift up my hands in thy name. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with a joyful lips. When I remember thee upon my bed and meditate on thee in the night watches, because thou hast been my help. Therefore, in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice. My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand upholdeth me. But those that seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall fall by thy sword, by the sword. They shall be a portion for foxes But the king shall rejoice in God. Everyone that swears by him shall glory, but the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped. Okay, so that was Psalms 63. Is God satisfies the thirsty soul? Okay, it was a Psalm of David. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go into our current events. Okay, we'll play my first one, then we'll talk about it. We go through all of them like that. Okay, here you go.
You to stop what you're doing for just one moment, because what I am about to show you is not a normal summer forecast. It is not the kind of weather update where I tell you to bring an umbrella or expect a warm weekend. Right now, as you are watching this, the European continent is locked inside the worst heat event ever recorded in its history. 9,900 people are already dead. Germany set a new national temperature record. Spain hit 45 degrees. France recorded its hottest day since records began in 1947. Belgium buried nearly 1,750 people in 2 weeks, its deadliest heat wave in 30 years. Major wildfires are burning right now from Portugal through Spain and into southern France, with smoke plumes visible from space. And the part that should stop you cold, that is not the news from the past. That is where things stand this morning. And I am here to tell you that it is going to get even hotter. The heat dome that has been sitting over Western Europe is not breaking. It is reloading. It is expanding northward and eastward. And the countries that thought they had escaped the worst, the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, the Baltic states, are now directly in its path. If you have never watched a weather update before in your life, watch this one, because what is coming in the next 7 days for most of Europe is going to be more serious than anything that came before it. And I'm going to walk you through every part of it right now. Let me start with what is actually driving all of this, because I think once you understand the mechanism, everything else makes much more sense. Since approximately June 20th, 2026, a massive dome of high pressure has been positioned over Western and Central Europe. High pressure systems create a cap in the atmosphere. They suppress cloud formation. They suppress rainfall. They compress and heat the air beneath them, and they are very good at staying in place once they get established. This particular dome has been drawing air from the Sahara Desert northward across the Mediterranean and pushing it deep into the European continent day after day. The result is that the temperatures across France, Spain, and Portugal have been running 12 to 16 degrees Celsius above what is normal for mid-July. Not 2 degrees above normal, not 5 degrees above normal. 12 to 16 degrees above what the historical record says these areas should be experiencing right now. That is not a warm summer. That is an atmospheric event with no modern parallel. And as of this week, the dome has re-strengthened and shifted its core slightly back toward the southwest. What that means in plain language is that the Iberian Peninsula and southern France are going back into the furnace again. And as that happens, the edges of the system are pushing further north and east than they have been before, which is why I am telling the people watching from Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Denmark, Poland, and the Baltic states to pay very close attention to what I am about to say. Let me give you the temperatures, not vague descriptions, actual numbers. Tomorrow, Friday, the 10th of July, London is going to be around 33 degrees Celsius. Amsterdam is looking at roughly 25 degrees. Dublin is in the low 20s. Paris is well above 35. Florence and Milan in Italy are between 34 and 35 degrees. Rome and Naples are similarly very hot. Parts of France, and this is the figure I want you to let sink in. Parts of France have this potential to approach 45 degrees Celsius in the days ahead. Not 35, not 40, 45. For context, that is 113 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the kind of temperature at which asphalt softens, at which train tracks buckle, at which outdoor workers face life-threatening conditions within minutes of sun exposure. Spain has already reached 45.1 degrees this summer. Germany hit 41.7 degrees, a provisional new national record that came down on June 28th, breaking a mark that had stood for years. Hungary broke its national record. The UK broke its all-time hottest June day record 3 consecutive days in a row. These are not one-off anomalies. They're the signature of a pattern that is still active and still building. Now, here is the part of the forecast that I want to focus your attention on most heavily over the next few days, Sunday and Monday, July 12th and 13th. For many of you across Western and Central Europe, those 2 days are going to be the peak, not the peak that has already passed, the new peak. The heat that built through late June, that briefly shifted slightly eastward in early July, is now reloading over the west and expanding simultaneously toward the north and east. So the areas that are going to feel Sunday and Monday the hardest are not just France and Spain. They include Germany, they include the Netherlands, they include Belgium and Luxembourg, they include Denmark. These countries have been in the warm zone, but not yet in the extreme zone. This weekend changes that. The high pressure is filling in aggressively across these areas. The rain that was keeping northern Germany and the Netherlands somewhat cooler is fading away. Sustained heat.
If you know what I mean, my hats finally have a home. It lets me keep.
Okay.
The Belgian Federal Agency for Health confirmed that this was the deadliest heat wave in Belgium in the past 30 years. The one previous event that came close was 2003, when a catastrophic heat wave killed tens of thousands across Europe. We are not at 2003 levels yet in terms of total death toll across the continent, but the early excess mortality estimates from this event are running above 9,900 across Europe as a whole, and that number is going to rise as the data from the ongoing July phase comes in. Majority of France, all of France really, plus all of Spain and Portugal, all of the UK and Ireland, all of the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Denmark, and most of Poland, there is essentially no meaningful rainfall in the next 5 to 7 days. The rain totals in all of these areas over the next week are going to be minimal to none. If you are waiting for a storm to save you, the honest message is that the storm is not coming anytime soon. Now let me talk about the long-range picture and what I am watching for beyond the immediate forecast. In terms of the next week to 10 days, the pattern is clear. Above average temperatures are the baseline for nearly all of Western, Central, and Southern Europe, with the most extreme heat concentrated over Iberia and France, and gradually spreading northward and eastward through the weekend. Temperatures will go up and down a little bit day to day as weather systems move through. There might be a brief and modest cool down in a spot here or there. But the overall framework of a dominant and blocking high pressure system producing well above normal temperatures is not changing in the near term.
Okay, what you think about that?
Just seem like a lot of Gentile countries being burnt up.
Right. And that's the last thing they want to see is of the sun when you understand their condition. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Seems like to me it's the hand of Yah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's something. We'll keep an eye on that. They said for the next 7 days, and they already at record-breaking temperatures towards the heat. Okay. Like I say, we'll keep an eye on that. Check this out.
Iran has further destroyed multiple United States military bases in the Middle East. Donald Trump needs to be removed from office immediately. Trump falling directly into his own escalatory trap. The Strait of Hormuz is now closed. American military bases are currently burning to the ground. Late last night, Donald Trump attacked coastal cities throughout Iran after Iran did what it previously did and said it was going to do again if the United States tried to direct tankers and cargo ships through its own route and not use the IRGC route in the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC said nothing has changed. We are going to strike those tankers. That's precisely what Iran did. They struck at least 2 tankers yesterday. The United States then responded by attacking 140 sites in Iran. Iran was not playing around. They said, if you're going to escalate, we're going to escalate. Strait of Hormuz closed, and we are going to hit U.S. military bases hard, and we're now going to expand the map of locations we're going to hit, whereas before we were mostly focused on Kuwait and Bahrain. Let's just go back to where we were when Donald Trump and Netanyahu first invaded in late February, and Iran's like, okay, we're going to strike Qatar, we're going to strike Oman, we're going to strike in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi. We're not going to hold back. That's precisely what Iran did. And let's not forget what took place before this weekend even started. It was the Trump regime leaking to their personal stenographer, Barack Ravid, over at Axios the following. A senior American official claimed that after 2 days of clashes around the strait earlier this week, the Iranians came back to us and asked, please, can we hold additional talks to try to resolve some of the issues? Yeah, tell me something that never happened the most. It is that they United States base is hard. People who have a lot of credit card debt can be thankful.
Okay.
right over here. Just take a look at this clear view of the large fire burning at the U.S. 5th Fleet base in Bahrain following the ballistic missile strikes there. I'll show you some B-roll of what it looked like. Oh, before the strikes took place, Pete Hegseth said the following: Iran made a poor choice. Now they pay. This isn't G.I. Joe. This isn't one of your made-for-DVD movies, Pete Hegseth. This is the real world, and in the real world, the United States has depleted its strategic petroleum reserves. Take a look at what the price of oil is going to be. It's probably going to be close to $85, $90 per barrel by the time the oil market opens tonight. Our strategic petroleum reserves are essentially fully depleted right now. I expect from your European allies?
I don't think it's going to start again. I think it's going to go very quickly. They hit a couple of ships, and so we hit them much harder. When they hit, we hit 10 times harder. You know, we hit much harder than they do. We have a lot better equipment than they do. We may even, somebody asked before, do you think you'll hit them tonight? I said, we might. Yeah, we might. But when they hit, we hit. You know, it's what we use their language. We speak their language. No, I don't think so. I think anything that happens is going to be over very quickly, and we'll only make it safer, including for oil. Oil is going to be very free, very easy, and it's going to happen very fast. We have the Hormuz Strait. The boats have pulled out. I mean, it is a gusher of oil right now. We have a lot of oil, and no, anything that happens is going to happen very fast. We're not looking for long term.
Or when Donald Trump was in the White House before leaving to NATO, and this is how he described Iran: we knocked the hell out of them, and now we're negotiating from strength, pure strength. Sure, yeah, Donald, you knocked the hell out of them. All of their.
Okay, what you got on there? What you think? You heard anything about that?
Shalom, no sir. But I'm not sure how you just said there. Now they're operating back in strength. I mean, I just don't.
That's some lies.
That's what I was about to say. I can't see that being true.
They can close the Trail News back closed again.
Right.
And Iran is back bombing all those countries over there, those countries in the Middle East. So it don't look good. Okay. So with that being said, I need to know information. I'm focusing on what happened on July 4th. Let me see when that was. Well, it was around that time when the black guy was found drunk. They drowned him, or they found him drowned, and nobody had no evidence on it. But there's more and more information coming out, and that's what I want to kind of deal with right now. Okay, so got a couple of videos on it. Okay, so at first they had no evidence, but check this out.
Presented by Nolan Wells' parents today on Good Morning America and their press conference. The 3 white boys on the boat should be arrested by end of day. If all goes well, they'll be arrested before I finish this video, and I'll see nothing in the comments but, Trent, you were right. They were arrested. Nolan's mother testified today that Warren, one of the white boys on the boat, lied to her face about having Nolan's phone. Attorney Benjamin Crump also testified today that the video that we have been playing for you guys for the past couple of days was in fact Nolan's voice on the island saying, "Give me back my friggin' phone." Nolan's mother also confirmed today that Nolan's Snapchat was deleted, and he had 2 accounts. When Nolan's dad came to pick up Nolan's car, Jax lied about the keys being inside of his house. And the boat was at the judge's house in the middle of the night being cleaned. You could debate all day if they're guilty or not. Those 4 facts I just presented you are 100% enough grounds to arrest someone dumb enough to not break up the phone so that it can be traced. Thank you, baby Jesus. I'm glad you guys are dumb. This is crazy. Nobody has a Snapchat account that posts all the time and doesn't post. We all know those people. Listen to the testimony today on Good Morning America from Nolan's mom.
When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos, like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious.
To double down even further about the posting, for those of you who might say, well, maybe he decided not to post that day. This was Nolan's last weekend before he went off to football camp to train for the starting of his season. This was his last hurrah. This is what his father said today on Good Morning America. You mean to tell me you have 2 Snapchat accounts, you're 18 years old, and you're not going to snap anything of your last hurrah, your last weekend before your summer is over? You're not posting nothing? Nothing at all? Give me a break. Okay, now let's move on to some other key things that we found out today. We found out also today that the boat in question that brought out the 4 boys was seen in the middle of the night at the judge's house being cleaned. Now, the boy who owned the boat was friends with, if I'm not mistaken, it's Warren, and let's just say it was Jax, because it's kind of up in the air, but whoever owned the boat was not parked at the owner's home. It was parked at the friend's home that his mom is a judge. Now, we've read the statements to the judge already, but I want to know something. You, me, and 2 other people, we go out in the boat. We come back without 1 black kid on the boat. Nobody knows where he is. And we're in the middle of the night. And one of the guys who are on the boat, their mom is a judge. And I bring the boat over to her house and clean it in the middle of the night to make sure that the judge is like, you need to clean it with this product. You need to, yeah, that's good, and approve it. This is ridiculous. Like I said, these boys need to be arrested ASAP. And I 100% agree. For these parents to be doing an interview in Good Morning America and doing this press conference and speaking so eloquently and speaking so strong just shows the character of this family. And I want to applaud them, because I don't know if I would have been able to hold myself back with that much decorum and speak the way that they did. So I want to salute the parents. I also want to salute Nolan's real friends and real family. And I feel like that is where these parents are drawing their strength from. I'm going to play a video for you, because I think I've been playing a lot of factual videos. I want to play like a feel-good video for you guys of Nolan's real friends and real family members getting together at Nolan's mother and parents' house. Take a look.
Okay, what you think? Okay. You got any feedback on that?
Shalom. Not really, brother Leonard.
Okay. Here we go. We got something else on that. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old college football player whose tragic death following a 4th of July boat trip has drawn intense national media attention and an ongoing active investigation. A wide receiver for Southwest Mississippi Community College and a former player at Ocean Springs High School, Nolan went missing during a holiday celebration on Horn Island, Mississippi. His body was recovered on July 6th. leading his family and prominent civil rights leaders to publicly challenge early official narratives surrounding his disappearance. So, what are early official narratives surrounding Nolan's disappearance? Well, what about the fact that the boys, who he called friends, ghosted him? They say Nolan ghosted them, but here's the deal. Nolan was with a girl who says that he left her to go back to be with his friends on the boat. They told authorities that Nolan left them to go be with the girl. Well, since Nolan was last seen by them, who do you believe? He had another friend who had possession of his keys. Mother says that they went to the house, the dad went to the house looking for the keys. Dude said he didn't have them. And some things happened along the way that it made them believe otherwise. So they went back and they retrieved the keys from the guy who said, this so-called friend who called Nolan a brother, by the way. Say he's like a brother to me. Really? Yeah. So anyway, fam, the family conducted a press conference when they don't want it to add up. Oh yeah, they can make it add up if they wanted to, but they don't want to. They want this case to just go away, like all of the millions of other cases where black folks were killed and suspects were white. Yeah, and by the way, these are the boys that was in that picture with Nolan. Eli Jax Vitalo, Eric Alcantara, Wyatt Pirate, Warren Hudson, and Morgan Seymour. Now, Eli Jax Vitalo, that's the one the father is talking about who had the keys. Now, that goes to show you how diabolical this dude is, if indeed he has something to do with this. Imagine this dude being asleep after something as tragic as that happened. Even if he didn't for sure know that his friend was dead, his so-called friend was dead, for him to be able to just go to sleep after something like that, after knowing that you got a friend out there that's missing, and you just go to sleep, I'm telling you, fam, if he's really involved, it goes to show you how demonic these people really are, how demonic that person really is.
Okay. You say you're not familiar with anything about this?
Shalom, yes, sir. I figured you was gonna play more before I commented.
Okay,
But
yeah.
brother, this is crazy. This is crazy though, because this is
Yeah.
more information than I knew about as far
Right.
as them, taking the boat to the judge's house, um, and all of that, and then even them saying that he left with his girlfriend or a girl he was talking to versus the boys. I didn't hear that.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a lot more. If I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that they've taken them in. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But it's more to come. Okay. It's like the video I played the other night. The guy said that it was lot was going to come out, and it's coming out. Okay. So I'm gonna play this right here. I thought it was pretty interesting, pertaining to uh, history on our identity. Check it out. Okay.
Someone told me rinsing produce only removes about
And for anyone still
Someone told me rinsing produce only
Now, in America, there are millions of people who say that the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible were not who history books tell us they were. And every single day, someone fires back with the same response. You got that from the King James Bible. Your ancestors were given that identity by slaveholders. It was never really yours. That argument sounds strong. It sounds logical. And for a long time, it was hard to counter with hard documentation. Until you find Richard Jobson. Because in 1623, before the transatlantic slave trade reached full scale, before missionary schools, before a single enslaved African in America had been handed a Bible and told who the Israelites were, an English merchant sailed up the Gambia River in West Africa. He worked for a London trading company. His job was profit, not theology. He had no reason to flatter the people he encountered, no reason to validate their identity, and absolutely no reason to lie in their favor. And yet, in his published book, he wrote that the people he found along that river were circumcised, observed the Sabbath, refused to eat pork, wore fringed garments on their clothing, and organized themselves into tribal groupings whose names matched the 12 tribes of Israel. He named every tribe. In 1623, in West Africa. So here's the question that is going to drive every minute of this video. If an English merchant in 1623 found them keeping the Sabbath in West Africa, what does that make them? Stay with me, because this document is real. This man was real, and what he wrote changes the entire conversation. The man's name was Richard Jobson. And before we get into what he found, we need to understand who he was, because the identity of the witness is everything.
Yeah, notice he said all 12 tribes was together.
Jobson was not a priest. He was not a missionary. He was not a theologian with an agenda to prove a biblical theory. He was a commercial agent working on behalf of the Company of Adventurers of London, an English trading corporation that had been chartered to explore and exploit commercial opportunities along the Gambia River in West Africa. His mission was straightforward: travel upriver, find the gold trade, and report back to the investors who were funding the operation. Experience in America, a spiritual adaptation, powerful and understandable, but ultimately derived from a text handed to them by their oppressors. This is a serious argument, and it has shaped how generations of scholars have approached the question of African American religious identity. But Richard Jobson's testimony breaks that argument's foundation. The transatlantic slave trade began in the mid-1500s with Portuguese operations, but the mass deportation of West Africans to the Americas, the catastrophic industrial-scale operation that would empty entire coastlines and scatter millions across the Atlantic, did not reach its full destructive momentum until the mid to late 17th century and through the 18th century. Jobson arrived on the Gambia River in 1623. He is documenting the people of that region before the machinery of mass enslavement had fully processed them.
Right, so this shouldn't be surprising with all the information that we have. The name of this video is An English Merchant Witnessed Hebrew Israelites Keeping the Sabbath in 1623. And like I said, notice he said that they had all 12 tribes identified. Okay, but you want to check that out, the whole video. It's An English Merchant Witnessed Hebrew Israelites Keeping the Sabbath in 1623, and the channel is history morsel. Okay, so like I wanted to remind everybody that we got our Q&A at the end of this class. We'll send out the link for anybody that want to come in. They got any questions, comments about anything they heard on this channel today and any other time, or any other questions they have from their own research. Okay, so keep in mind that we'll be having Q&A at the end of the class. Okay, we're gonna send out the link. So with that being said, my topic for discussion is let's check it out. Oprah Winfrey, along with T.D. Jakes, sent out this morning. See what it's all about.
Okay, this is a truth channel. If you're not allergic to the truth and you're okay with hearing the real truth and nothing but the truth, I double dare you to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified each and every time we upload or go live. So I'm going to get into it in just a moment, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and grab the link. Wow. Man, I just saw some other, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I just saw some other news. I just saw some other news looking for this. I'm not going to even get into that. I'm not going to get into that other news yet, but it's a trip, y'all. It is a trip. Oh my goodness. It is a trip. Whew. My. The Most High is moving, y'all. He is definitely on the move. I can feel inside myself at 4 or 5 years old. Okay. I wasn't trying to play any of the sound from it. I was trying to grab the link to it. But this other news I saw, it is a trip as well. And I got the wrong image up there, y'all. Got the wrong image. Let me go in there. It shouldn't be that image, though. I have the right image sitting here. Maybe I didn't add it where it needs to be. So just give me a minute, y'all. I just saw something else. I saw something. Know what it is. She just told her mom. Okay, so we'll see if you just might know. Oh, she knows. Oh, you're saying you know what the other news is. Okay, I got you. So what you're talking about, you're not talking about T.D. Jakes and Oprah. So, anyways, family, in this interview, they talked about a lot of things, and I'm going to get into some of the things they talked about. But it is a trip. When you have 2 billionaires giving people a particular warning, it's about this economy and stuff like that. Right, but there was a very specific warning that Oprah gave. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So the main topic, first of all, this was the episode that was released on November 14th, 2025. So this was 7 months ago. T.D. Jakes has a new podcast called Next Chapter with T.D. Jakes, right? And so he had Oprah on there. It wasn't just a conversation, y'all. Is being labeled as a cultural moment. 2 of the most influential voices in Black America, right? Sat down and had a talk. Okay, they had to talk about some things. They talked about money, of course, and how, they talked about family and how family look at them like they're just a walking bank account or whatever. I'm not going to get into that part of it because that part is not really the important part. But they got into conversation about this economy and where things are headed and the direction that things are going in. A lot of people simply are not prepared. They're not prepared. Okay. So there's an article. It says, in a world marked by rapid change, cultural tension, and economic uncertainty, Oprah and Bishop Jakes offered listeners a grounded, faith-centered roadmap for staying anchored, purposeful, and spiritually awake. Okay. The episode opened with warmth and familiarity, 2 longtime friends reconnecting, but quickly the conversation deepened into themes that define both of their legacies. Faith as a stabilizing force, the responsibility of business ownership, the necessity of boundary setting, the courage to pursue purpose even when the world feels chaotic. So they definitely dived into the fact that the world is feeling very chaotic right now. Okay, very chaotic. Oprah spoke candidly about her own journey of learning to trust divine direction, especially in seasons where clarity feels scarce. Bishop Jakes, known for his ability to articulate spiritual truth with intellectual depth, echoed the sentiment: purpose is not found in comfort, it is found in obedience. Okay? So the main important thing that stood out to me in this conversation, I'm going to get into that now. Although they did dive into the warnings of AI, that's not the important thing though. But there was something that Oprah said that really, really grabbed my attention, because we all know that Oprah, over the years, she's done so many things. She's very wealthy. She's talked to a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people, touched on so many levels, so many different things on so many levels, and so many things, right? Okay. So you can hear the angst in her voice when she said this. Now, when you think about the things that they were talking about, so I want you all to, listen to the interview. I'm gonna drop the link to it. But when you listen to the stuff they were talking about, when you have billionaires like this taking note that something done shifted in the world, something is shifting fastly, quickly, rapidly in the world. When she said this, let me go ahead and read this part that she said right here. When I heard her say this, she says, in the times that we are living in, people better get as close to the Most High as they can. Now, I kid you not, when you hear how she said it, this woman, she sounded like she had fear in her voice. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? She said people better start getting as close to the Most High as they can. Now, I kid you not. We saw this yesterday. Okay? Now, someone in the chat says, I don't know about trusting these two. Okay, so Lena, you must have just joined me. Anyone who's just joining me, I already recognize that a lot of people don't really care for these two, okay? But I want you to hear the message. I want people to focus more on what I'm talking about and not so much how you feel about these two, okay? Don't focus on how you feel about these two. I want you to get the message, okay? Literally yesterday, and I am going to drop the link for you to hear the interview. As I was taking my walk, and I was reflecting on the Most High. Oh my goodness, I love the Most High. I was literally saying to the Most High that I don't know how anybody on this planet could live this life without you. I said, it's a trip when you have people like Oprah talking like this now. Like I said, I can hear the anxiety in her voice. Her message was clear. People better get close to God as they can. These times require direction and divine direction. This wasn't a slogan, it was a wake-up call. Oprah described how the noise of modern life, social media, political division, economic pressure, constant comparison has created a spiritual fog. In that fog, people lose their sense of identity, purpose, and grounding. The antidote, she insisted, is closeness with the Most High. Not religion, not performance, not perfection, but relationship with the Most High. She spoke about how she has personally leaned into prayer, silence, and intentional spiritual practices to navigate her own decisions. I don't move without direction, she said, not anymore, right? Now, breaking from the article just for a moment, she also spoke about how when she did move without direction, things did not go as planned. Things did not go as planned. Is our portion. He is our source. This message is an overall message for our people in general, because some of our people are fast asleep. They have no idea what's happening in the world. They have no idea how to resolve any of this. They are not in tune with seeking the Most High, and they don't understand it. Excuse me. So I completely agree with Sister Lizette. I say it all the time that the Most High is our source. All we got to do is hide under the. There is no window of opportunity that's closing. If you trust the Most High, if the Most High is for you, who can be against you, right? If He is for you, who can be against you? Mm-hmm. Brother Jay, I wanted to talk about that at a later time. That was the thing that I saw come in my feed that just really tripped me out. And I said the Most High is moving because these people are so filled with pride, so filled with all kinds of things. And not to lean too much into this, but even Mitch McConnell, right? They don't know what's going on with him yet. So, hey, listen, I'm gonna pull away from that now and get back to this message, this urgent message that people, like Oprah Winfrey said, I don't care. I'm not about to shoot the messenger because I agree with her. People need to get as close to the Most High as they can. When I heard that message, it was yesterday. I heard her message yesterday. But earlier in that day, I kid you not, during my walk, I was thinking about how we say, well, I don't want to use it. It's here. It's being incorporated into every part of life. So we need to understand this stuff. And if you can utilize it in your business, do it. Just like people who are against driver's license and social security cards and stuff, how do you even live your life? Is there another way of doing things? Thank you. Even Yahoo says a sword is not evil, but the wielder can be. Exactly. It's here and it's not going away just because a lot of people don't like it. Angela says, oh, the old saying says, eat the meat. It's like something is happening in the air and it's just coming so fast. We have got to understand the times we're living in. This is different than some of the things that have happened in the past. This time is different. There is some wickedness that's happening right now that is.
Okay, what you got? What you think? What you think about that? So, Oprah and TD Jakes got this urgent message. They got them two characters because we already established it. You see these anybody on faces on the news, television, or whatever, they tied into the powers that be. They tied into the boule. They ain't working with you. They working with them. So what you think?
Shalom, yes sir. I was gonna mention that, Brother Leonard, just about them being, well, not necessarily TD Jakes being a billionaire, but Oprah being a billionaire and being Boule. That I mean, I would say they're telling the truth because the Gentile billionaires are saying the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, me looking at this, I mean, when I was just going through YouTube and I just saw the the image. They had the image of Adrian Metchell. They had Oprah face on it and TD Jakes' face. I already knew some bullshit because we already know they boule, right? And so they used them, even though, like I said, we already know they garbage, but they still know the influence that they have. So they still put them up there. The first thing I thought about when I saw this was Pastor Manny.
Right. Sure.
And it got something to do with Africa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we're gonna sit back and this it's all tied together. It's not they're not no AI like they're saying. One of the things saying that we need to tighten up and all that because of AI. Well, it's all tied. Whatever they finna do that's in Africa and here in America, turning to the African American, is tied to AI. It's tied to the data centers. It's all none of this stuff is disconnected from each other. It's all tied together. Right. The Iran war. It's all of it tied together. Okay. You got anything else on that?
Shalom, no sir.
Okay. Well, we got some chapters to read out of Numbers. We'll read those chapters. We pick a scripture and then break the scripture down. I got another video I want to play after that. There's some need to know information. Okay, so we in Numbers 26.
And 26, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, sir. And Moses takes a second census, and it came to pass after the plague that the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, saying, take the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel from 20 years old and upward throughout their father's house, and all that are able to go to war in Israel. And Moses and Eleazar the priest spake with them in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, take the sum of the people from 20 years old and upward, as the Lord commanded Moses and the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt. Reuben, the eldest son of Israel, the children of Reuben, Hanok, of whom cometh of the family of the Hanakites, of Palu, the family of the Paluites, of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the family of the Carmenites. These are the families of the Reubenites, and they that were numbered of them were 43,730. And the sons of Palu, Eliab, and the sons of Eliab, Nemuel, and Dathan, and Abiram. And this is the Dathan and Abiram which were famous in the congregation, who strove against who strove against Moses and against Aaron in the company of Korah, whom they strove against the Lord. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that company died. What time the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a sign. Notwithstanding, the children of Korah died not. The sons of Simeon, after their families, of Nemiel, the family of the Nemielites, of Jamin, the family of the Jamanites, of Joshin, the family of the Joshinites, of Zerah, the family of the Zerahites, of Shaw, the family of the Shawites. These are the families of the Simeonites, 20 and 2,200. The children of Gad, after their families, of Zephon, of the family of the Zephonites, of Haggi, the family of the Haganites, of Shuni, the family of the Shunites, of Ozni, the family of the Osranites, of Eri, the family of the Erites, of Arad, the family of the Aradites, of Areli, the family of the Arelites. These are the families of the children of Gad, according to those that were numbered of them, 40,500. The sons of Judah were and Onan, and and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Judah, after their families, were Shelah, the family of the Shelanites, of Pharez, the family of the Pharezites, Zerah, the family of the Zarites. And the families of Pharez were of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Hamul, the family of the Hamulites. These are the families of Judah, according to those that were numbered of them, 16,500. Of the sons of Issachar, after their families, of Tola, the family of the Tolanites, of Pua, the family of the Punites, of Jeshub, the family of the Jeshubites, of Shimron, the family of the Shimronites. These are the families of Issachar, according to those that were numbered of them, 64,400. Of the tribe of Zebulun, after their families, of Sarid, the family of the Sardites, of Elon, the family of the Elonites, Jaleel, the family of the Jaleelites. These are the families of the Zebulunites, according to those that were numbered of them, 3,500. And these are the sons of Joseph, after their families, were Manasseh and Ephraim. Of the sons of Manasseh, of Mashir, the family of the Mashirites. And Mashir begat Gilead. Of Gilead come the family of the Gileadites. These are the sons of Gilead. Of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites. of Helak, the family of the Helakites, of and of Azriel, the family of the Azraelites, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites, and of Shemitah, the family of the Shemitites, and of Hepher, the family of the Hepherites, and of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, had no sons but daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mala and Noah and Hogla and Milcah and Tirzah. These are the families of Manasseh, and those that were numbered of them 50,002,700. And the tribe of Ephraim numbered. And these are the sons of Ephraim after their families: of Shalutha, the family of the Shaluthites; of Bashir, the family of the Bachrites; of Tahan, the family of the Tahanites. And these are the sons of Shalutha; of Iran, the family of the Iranites. And these are the families of the sons of Ephraim, according to those that were numbered of them, 30,005. And these are the sons of Joseph after their families, and of the sons of Benjamin after their families: of Bela, the family of the Belites; of Ashbel, the family of the Ashbelites; of Ahiram, the family of the Ahiramanites; of Shapham, the family of the Shufan Shufanites. Sorry about that. Hufam, of the family of the Hufamites. Of the sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman; of Ard, the family of the Ardites; and of Naaman, the family of the Naamanites. These are the sons of Benjamin after their families, and they that were number of them were 40,500. And these are the sons of Dan after their families: of Shuham, the family of the Shuhamites. These are the families of Dan after their families. All the families of Shuham of the Shuhamites, according to those that were number of them, were 64,400. And of the children of Asher after their families: of Jimnah, the family of the Jimnites; of Jesse, of the family of the Jesuites; of Beriah, the family of the Berites; of the family of Beriah; of Heber, of the sons of Beriah; of Heber, the family of the Heberites; of Malchiel, the family of the Malchielites. And the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. And these are the families of the sons of Asher, according to those that were number of them, who were 53,400. Of the sons of Naphtali after their families: of Jazeel, the family of the Jazeelites; of Guni, the family of the Gunites; of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites; of Shalim, the family of the Shalemites. These are the families of Naphtali according to their families, and they that were numbered of them were 45,400. And these were the number of the children of Israel, 600,000 and 1,730. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, These the land shall be divided for inheritance according to the number of names. To many thou shalt give the more inheritance, and to few thou shalt give less inheritance. To everyone shall his inheritance be given according to those that were number of him. Notwithstanding, the land shall be divided by lot according to the names of the tribes of their fathers; they shall inherit. According to the lot shall the possession thereof be divided between many and few. Excuse me. And 57. And these are they of the Levites after the families of Gershon, the family of the Gershonites; of Kohath, the family of the Kohathites; of Merari, the family of the Merarites. These are the families of the Levites: the family of the Libnites, the family of the Hebronites, the family of the Maliites, the family of the Mushites, the family of the Korathites, and Kohath begat Amram. And the name of Amram's wife was Jehoshaphat, the daughter of Levi, whom her mother bare Levi in Egypt. And she bare unto Amram Aaron and Moses and Miriam their sister. And unto Aaron was born Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. And Nadab and Abihu died when they offered strange fire before the Lord. And those that were numbered of them were 20 and 3,000, all males from a month old and upward, for they were not numbered among the children of Israel, because there was no inheritance given them among the children of Israel. These are they that were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. But among these there was not a man of whom Moses and Aaron the priest numbered, whom they when they numbered the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord has said of them, they shall surely die in the wilderness, and there was no man left of them, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. And Shalom. That was Numbers chapter 26.
Okay, you got anything on that?
No, sir. What you got, brother Leonard?
First of all, we always talking about how Israel, a lot of the men, a lot of the sons had the same name, right?
Right. Okay.
So we see right here in verse 1, it came to pass after the plague that the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Eleazar, right?
Mm-hmm.
The son of Aaron, the priest. Moses got a son called Eleazar.
All right. Sure.
Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's right there on top of each other. They got both of them got sons with the same name. So then on verse 20, this right here was big. 20 says, 19, the sons of Judah. Just take you back to 38. Remember the Lord killed those sons of Judah?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So the sons of Judah were Onan, and and Onan died in the land of Canaan, right?
Right.
And Tamar was his wife. So
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
died without a son. So Onan was supposed to took up a seed for him, but he pulled out. So the Lord always killed him, right?
Right.
So the next in line to take up a seed was this boy in verse 20. See that?
Yes, sir.
Shela, right?
Right. Sure.
But we know that Judah went into Tamar, right?
Right. Sure.
Look what it says in 20. And the sons of Judah are the sons of Judah after their families were of Shula. See that? The family of the Shulamites.
Okay.
See that? The family of the Shulamites. Perez, the family of the Perizzites, and Zerah, the family. So these boys, one of them is Perez is taken up on the Shula.
Okay.
You see that?
Right.
Yeah, that's big, man. Okay. You got anything else on that?
Damn. Okay. No, sir. Well, actually, I do. Bevelin in where is this at? Where is this at? Oh, we're in 65.
Okay.
The last verse where it says, "For the Lord has said of them, they shall surely die in the wilderness, and there was not a man left of them, but save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun."
Right.
What's being said right there, brother Lemon?
That's when the 12 spies went.
Okay, right.
When
Okay.
he killed the 10, he had them to wander in the wilderness because they hearkened to those scribes. To those spies. And he killed all the people except what's left was Caleb and June.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of them was 20 years and below that went in the land.
Right.
Only
Okay.
Caleb and Jethro was left of that old situation. That's the reason they wandered for 40 years and killed them all.
Right. Okay. So it's a whole new generation that entered
Yeah.
in.
The whole new generation that went in, children.
Right. Okay.
And Caleb and children. I mean Caleb and Joshua.
Okay. Right.
Okay. And then when you understand that, when we go back and start looking at that's what they brought over here, young folks, most of them.
Oh. Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody put that together though. Okay.
Mhm.
We're on 27.
It's big, right? Yes, sir. And it, the request of Zelophehad's daughters. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Mashir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of his daughters: Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the princes of the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he hath no son? Give unto us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren. Thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass on to them, and thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass on to his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren. And if his father have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Get thee up into the mount Abarim, and see the land which I have chosen unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou also shalt be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother was gathered. For ye rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water before their eyes. That is the water of Meribah in Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep which have no shepherd. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take thee Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay thy hand upon him, and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight, that thou shalt put some of thine honor upon him, that all the congregation of Israel may be obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord. At his word shall they go out, and at his word shall they come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and he laid his hands upon him, and he gave him a charge as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. And Shalom, that was Numbers chapter 27.
Okay, you got anything on that?
Brother Leonard, just that This is this wording right here, and I was gonna ask a question about this, but verse 17, that they said it's about David, right where it says David let us the Israel in and let them out and let them back in.
Right, yeah, but Moses did it before he did.
Right, right. But in so what all entails in that though, brother Leonard? Like, what's that mean?
I mean, he's the head.
Okay, okay,
He's like Moses. Actually, Moses is the king, really.
okay. That's
You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
It's just that David is picking up after the order of Melchizedek. But it's the when you look at the framework, it's the same thing. It's just that David actually, when the oil was poured on him and all that, he actually picked it up from Aaron. It was cut off at Aaron. I mean Abraham. Then it came. It was picked back up with David.
Okay, right. Okay,
So all we're dealing with right here is the order.
okay. Yes, sir.
And so this is another witness right here too, 18 and 19,
All right.
about when they go to the New Testament and say they're going to raise a man up like unto Moses, and they say it's Jesus.
Right. Yes, sir. The Deuteronomy
18.
18.
Yeah, see right here, verse 18, 18, 19. And the Lord said unto Moses, take thee Joshua. That is the answer to that. When he said he's going to raise a man up like unto Moses. He says, the Lord said unto Moses, take Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit, and lay thy hand upon him, and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight. Then 20, and thou shalt put some of thy honor upon him. There it is right there. That all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. That's your answer right there to that. This man he gonna raise up like one of Moses. Okay. So we see it again over there in Deuteronomy. Let's go there right quick. We see it again in 31. See that? 34 and 9.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said we see it again. Oh, in the same chapter.
Deuteronomy 34 and 9.
Deuteronomy 34 and 9. Oh, yes, sir. And it says, and Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him and did as the Lord commanded Moses.
So we saw the commandment over here in Numbers. Then we see the results over here. It's Joshua. See that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to read 28?
Right. Yes, sir. And it says, observance of daily offerings. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, command the children of Israel and say unto them, my offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire for a sweet savor unto me shall you observe to offer unto me in their due season. And they shall say unto them, this is the offering made by fire which you shall offer unto the Lord, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, day by day, for a continual burnt offering. The one lamb shalt thou offer in the morning, and the other lamb shall you offer at evening, and a tenth part of an ephah of flour for a meat offering, mingled with the fourth part of an hin of beaten oil. It is a continual burnt offering, which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And the drink offering thereof shall be the fourth part of an hin for the one lamb. In the holy place shalt thou cause the strong wine to be poured unto the Lord for a drink offering. And the other lamb shalt thou offer at evening as the meat offering of the morning, and as the drink offering thereof thou shalt offer it a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. And on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And in the beginning of your months, you shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several several tenth deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering unto 1 lamb for a burnt offering of a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And their drink offering shall be half an hin of wine onto a bullock, and the third part of a hin onto a ram, and the fourth part of a hin onto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering unto the Lord shall be offered, beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And then the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of the Lord. And in the 15th day of the month is the feast. 7 days shall be unleavened bread be eaten, shall unleavened bread be eaten. And the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no manner of servile work therein, but you shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deals shall ye offer for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram. A several tenth deal shall thou offer to every lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 goat for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. And you shall offer these beside the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. And after this, you shall offer daily throughout the 7 days the meat of the sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. It shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And on the 7th day, you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. And also in the day of the first fruits, you shall bring a new meat offering unto the Lord. After your weeks be out, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work, but you shall offer the burnt offering for a sweet savor unto the Lord. 2 young bullocks, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, and their meat offering of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals onto 1 bullock, 2/10 deals onto 1 ram, a several tenth deal onto 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats to make an atonement for you. You shall offer them beside the continual burnt offering and his meat offering. They shall be unto you without blemish, and their drink offerings. And shalom. That was Numbers chapter 28.
Okay, you got a thing on that?
Brother Leonard, yes, sir. In verse 10, sir, where it says, and this is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So on the Sabbath, the Levites, they got to do sacrifices, right? Like
Right.
they actually. So I hear some people. Can you make this plain for me? Because I hear some of the Hebrew guys, right? They say
Mm-hmm.
that's why the law is done away with, because like the Levites, they was working on the Sabbath. Can you explain that?
It's just like we said. There go your self-serving right there. That's another example.
Right.
He taking them away from the Israelites to himself. Their job is to serve him. This is serving. Also, like he says in Isaiah 53 and verse 1, the on. It's the on. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So where did they get that 7? Where they get that from? Be making these sacrifices and all that. When the angels doing it before they did,
Right.
it was introduced in heaven.
Sir.
Okay, yeah. So I'm in number 29. Says, in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servitude work. It is a day of blowing of the trumpets unto you, and ye shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet savor unto the Lord. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of fine flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deal for a bullock, and 2/10 deal for a ram, and 1/10 deal for a lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and one kid of the goats for a sin offering to make an atonement for you, besides the burnt offering of the month, and his meat offering, and the daily burnt offering, and his meat offering, and their drink offering according unto their manner, for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And ye shall have on the 10th day of this 7th month a holy convocation, and ye shall afflict your souls, and ye shall not do any work therein, but ye shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord for a sweet savor, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto ye witnesses without blemish, and their meat offering shall be of fine flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deal for a bullock, 2/10 deal for a ram, a several tenth deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, besides the sin offering of atonement, and the continual burnt offering, and the meat offering of it, and their drink offering. And on the 15th day of the 7th month, ye shall have a holy convocation, and ye shall do no servile work, and ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days, and ye shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord, 13 young bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year, and they shall be without blemish, and their meat offering shall be mingled with flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deal unto the bullock for 13 bullocks, 2/10 deal to each ram of the 2 rams, and a several tenth deal to each lamb of the 14 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for the sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 2nd day, ye shall offer 12 young bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without spot, and their meat offering and their drink offering for a bullock, for the rams, and for the lambs shall according to their number and their manner, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering and the meat offering thereof, and their drink offering. And on the 3rd day, 11 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish, and their meat offering and their drink offering for bullocks, for rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after their manner, and 1 goat for a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering and the sin offering and his drink offering. And on the 4th day, 10 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish, their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner, and 1 kid of goats for a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 15th day, 9 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without spot, and their meat offerings, and their drink offerings for a bullock, for a ram, for a lamb shall be according to the number after that manner. So what we're dealing with is this is if I'm not mistaken, it's Passover, I think. The 14 days. Yeah. So I'm not gonna read all that. You can notice how when you get to 37, let me see, 35. On the 8th day, ye shall have a solemn assembly. Ye shall do no servile or work thereof, but ye shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord, 1 bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. Their meat offerings and their drink offerings for a bullock, for a ram, and for a lamb shall be according to their number, after the manner, and 1 goat for a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offerings and the meat offerings and the drink offerings. These things ye shall do unto the Lord in your set feasts, besides your vows and your free will offerings, for your burnt offerings and for your meat offerings and for your drink offerings and for your peace offering. And Moses told the children of Israel according to all that the Lord had commanded. So I think this is Passover, because notice it only went to 8 days. Okay. So I'm gonna read 30. Okay. The law concerning vows. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he will not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallows her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vows or her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her. And if she had at all a husband when she vowed, or uttered out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband disallows her on the day that he hear it, then he shall make her vow with which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul of none effect, and the Lord shall forgive her. But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. And if she vow in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband hear it, and held his peace at her and disallows her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband have utterly made them void on the day he heard it, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband have made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul. Her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establishes all her vows or all her bonds which are upon her. He confirmeth them because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them. But if he shall anyways make them void after that he have heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses between a man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. So that was chapter 30. You got anything on that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. Just how this kind of reiterates how serious the vows is. Just because in verse 2 it says, if you swear an oath to bind his soul with the bond. Yes, sir. I just remember you telling me one time, like how David vowed to the Lord of hosts, and he never.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So the thing about that is, you say, well, where is coming from? Well, ain't that what the 200 angels did?
Oh, right, on Mount Hermon.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let me get this right. Let's take it out the way. Okay. So yeah. So these vows, if you remember, that's what Samuel mama did, right?
Right. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And so when it came to pass, she did everything she said. Okay. And David constantly making vows to the Lord. And the Lord making vows to him. That in itself tell you who the Messiah is. Okay.
Right. Yes,
so with that being said, like I said, we're gonna open up the Q&A in a minute after we pick the scripture, and we'll open up the link. Hopefully the link been sent out. You gonna post the link too, AJ?
yes, sir. I can post in the chat.
You gonna go ahead and pick that scripture first, then we'll go into that.
Yes, sir. Brother Leonard, I was gonna go to Ecclesiastics,
Okay.
chapter 5, and this is just verses 4 through 7, and it says, or 4 through 6, and it says, when thou vowest a vow unto God, and defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of your hands? And Shalom, that was Ecclesiastics chapter 5, verses 4 through 6.
Ain't that something? Notice there's an angel there.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that something?
Yes, sir.
Right. So good on that?
Yes, sir. I'm good on that one.
Okay. Yeah, let me play this right quick. So I don't know if anybody knows, but this go back to what I've been screaming for forever and a day. You know what's his name came up dead all of a sudden. You know that? You heard about that?
Who's that, Brother Leonard?
Lindsey, the senator, Lindsey Graham.
And that was
Right.
Senator Lindsey Graham's
Okay.
last appearance with me here on this program back in early March, supporting the president's Operation Epic
It's
Fury
big, man.
against Iran.
And
Senator
then now they
Graham
got-
passed away last night after what his office disclosed.
And we know McConnell, he's supposed to be dead, but they trying to hide it because they didn't send his wife over to Korea somewhere, saying that she got the, she done picked up his Senate seat or whatever, and they trying to buy time. We got her over there in Korea somewhere. But so there's two people, like I said. This dude here came up overnight dead, and then you got McConnell. Both of them is straight up nut buckets for Trump.
Described as a brief and sudden illness. Senator Lindsey Graham was 71 years old. Tributes are pouring in this morning from across the world, including from President Trump, who wrote on Truth Social, quote, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, is dead. He was always working and was a true American patriot. Lindsey will be greatly missed. Joining me now is one of Lindsey Graham's colleagues in the Senate, Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee. Senator, my condolences to you and your colleagues this morning.
Look, Senator Graham's passing is a real loss. All of us who knew him, who worked with him, appreciated his sense of humor, his enthusiasm for life. And the man didn't do anything half-heartedly, and we will miss him. We're still coming to terms with the fact that he's gone.
Of course, everyone is shocked this morning. We all learned very late last night, and I wonder how things change as a result of this. Lindsey Graham was trying to execute President Trump's agenda, as you have been as well. How do you think things change in the Senate without Lindsey Graham there?
Well, look, there will be a massive hole in the Senate, and the size and shape of Lindsey Graham, it will impact everything. In the short term, we're down one senator. We're down to 52 Republicans instead of 53. There are plans of succession in place, of course, and I'm sure those will unfold in the coming days and weeks. Nonetheless, the impact of this can't be overstated.
And one of the pieces of legislation that the senator talked about and supported was the Save America Act, something that you co-sponsored, that you have been pushing for a long time. What are your expectations for the Save America Act?
Look, this is something that Senator Lindsey Graham spent a lot of time with. Like me, he had a lot of enthusiasm for this bill, which I introduced in the Senate about 2.5 years ago. I believe, Maria, that there are multiple paths ahead by which we could pass this. Maybe that involves attaching it to another must-pass vehicle. Maybe it involves bringing it up on the floor and debating it until it passes, something that I've long advocated. Maybe it involves picking out pieces of it that could be implemented for creative uses of budget reconciliation. I'm not terribly partial to any of these three. I personally prefer the second. I think that would give us our best chance. But I will take any opportunity to debate this, any opportunity to cause it to become law, because the American people deserve it. The American people want it. Voters overwhelmingly support it to the tune of about 80%. That's Democrats and Republicans alike. One of the best ways we can honor Lindsey Graham's legacy would be to take this up and pass it this month.
Okay, so like I said, it's got the very thing that they didn't want is happening. They got 2 senators already that came up missing. I'm not sure if McConnell dead or not, but I know it's a bunch of stir up going around here. And they something going on with that too. But it's kind of ironic that this guy here just popped up out of the blues and unalive. Okay, you got anything on that? Keep an eye on it.
Right, yes, sir. And that is interesting because they show that in movies too, just around when there's certain regime changes and coups going on, how a lot of officials come up missing and kind of kept on the low.
Right, exactly. You got any questions? Anybody got any questions, comments?
Shalom, everyone. I'm sorry I got in a little late, but I wanted to expound on the young man who came up past dead, and how they said that the boat was at the judge's house. One of the friends' mother is a judge, and they cleaned it at night. So that right there, to me, was such a alarm versus anything. As they say, why bring it to the friend's house? And why clean it at night? And what was
Right.
the significance to clean this boat? And they probably don't even clean it every time they take it out and bring it back in. So that was a really big thing on that. So the second thing, it was about when she spoke on T.D. Jakes and Oprah on the podcast.
Okay.
Now, all the backlash that T.D. Jakes have in his latest, what went on with him lately, and then Oprah coming on his show, double-edged sword. Yes, they want to
Right.
speak about getting together and all of this, and
Right.
I think it's like throwing the rock another way so
Right.
everyone won't see what's going on. And it's
Exactly.
so obvious to me
Right.
when she put that in there. And she couldn't even expand on how they're speaking on it. What do they mean? They're acting as they're in the trenches along with everyone else. They're not.
Right.
They're not
Yeah.
even close to even getting there. Even
Right.
though all the backlash that TD Jake has, he's
Right.
got another, a podcast. And then
Right.
she's
They puppets.
Yes. And then for someone to, and while the way she said it is like she's a follower. She's she just all into what Oprah says is golden, and she's made a lot of things that we can point out that was not right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
All right.
yes, that part. Okay.
Okay.
So those were the two things so far.
Okay. You got anything, AJ?
Shalom, brother Leonard. Yes, sir. In one of the classes that was played last night was it was episode 9 of your,
Okay.
yes sir, the uncomfortable conversations, right? And on there in that lesson, brother Leonard, you was talking about the Buddhism and Hinduism, right? And kind of
Right.
how that tied in with Christianity. But
Right.
specifically one part in there, brother Leonard, I had a question, like you was dealing with the Stoic cynicism and
Yeah.
in the Stoics, in the
Right.
Stoicism. Yes, sir. Can you kind of break some of that down? How that ties with it?
If I'm not mistaken, I have images up too, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you see and know that a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but those people with that was they come out of the Greek culture. It comes out of Aristotle and Plato and all them. They like I was saying, the Jews that was over in Israel in 70 AD, they weren't Israelites. It was Edomites, and they had a perverted, how we know Phinehas and Moses and Aaron, all of them had this zeal for the Lord, but these people, because of who they were, and they were perpetrating fraud, as really they had a perverted sense of perverted sense of zeal for the Lord. So it was the same thing right here with these people. They would starve themselves. They got that from Buddhism. That's what brought about those isms. They'll
Right.
starve themselves, and they wouldn't there'd be nothing but skin and bone. And so a lot of people see that, but they don't understand where it's coming from when they're showing a man with skin and bone. They're showing JC on the cross with skin and bone because of that Stoicism. It ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. They didn't flip it around and put it under the banner of Christianity, but how they get themselves away is they showing it with skin and bones on the cross. That's Stoicism. And then the same way with you say it's supposed to be Hebrew. Well, David and none of them ain't walking around with no sun behind their head.
Right. Exactly.
JC that's a dead giveaway when they put the sun behind his head. It's straight out of Egypt. Just like the skin and bone thing, the man with skin and bones is it coming from Buddhism. That's what Sandaka did. He starved himself to death.
Shalom.
Okay.
Um, so when you mentioned Buddhism and Hinduism, um, Gandhi, he did the same thing.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
he
Right.
starved himself, and everyone was looking at him like, "Oh, he is the greatest. He's so much into the Lord. He's all
Right.
this. He's really righteous." But then his background was not even clean.
Right. Right.
That was weird. Him and Sister Teresa,
Right.
the background was not clean at all.
Right. That's why I was saying how when they took those ideals from Buddhism and from the Greek way of life and put it in Christianity. Now, when people see it, they assume it's Christianity. But the Buddha ain't the guy you talking about. Gandhi ain't trying to. It ain't got nothing to do with or no Christianity. That's a characteristic these people had before the Greeks came along and done what they done. They would go out into a cave somewhere and stay there 60 days or whatever. Don't eat, starve themselves. Then come back. When they come back into to the city or in the civilization where people at, they actually want people to see them like that. Because they supposed to, that's like I was saying before. When you understand how crazy this shit is, that's supposed to be holy. When you see a man like that, like I said with JC, that's the reason why they got. That's the reason why they have JC like that, because when you see it, it's supposed to be something holy, but it's not. It has nothing to do with Hebrews in our culture. It's tied to those isms, like I said, Stoicism and Buddhism and all those isms that these people created when they came in contact with Buddhism. They created these strands off of Buddhism. And if I'm not mistaken, that one emperor, he was a Stoic. I think I got it in that video. I can't remember his name.
Right, yes, sir. I can't remember the name either, but I do remember that being
Right.
mentioned. And Brother Leonard, so what's his name from South Africa? I can't he was in jail for all those years and he wouldn't eat.
Oh, Mandela.
Right. Did he do that in the name of some of these ideas? Or
no.
Because I don't know his religion.
Well, because like I said, they put a some kind of religious holy take on it now. With this, it's not the fasting that David did. I mean, not David, but Daniel did when Daniel 9:25. It's a difference.
Okay.
So I'm saying, so it's just tied to it's perverted.
Right. Okay.
And so anyway, he was he tied to a ism too, which is what's that ism I've been talking about that's tied to Pan-Africanism.
Okay. Right.
He tied as an ism too. All them tied together.
Sir.
When you see the ISM on the end of there, run.
Right. Sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Shalom. His name was Nelson Mandela.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And then that was a setup. Like I said, what they're doing now, they that was all set up. Just like when they brought Obama on the scene, they set that up. They set it up for, they made it like King. They brought him up and made him, they put him in the limelight, made him hero, made him stay hero, and they made him our hero. They all this there's a system they put in place to do that. Okay.
Shalom. Yeah. So when Martin Luther King Jr. when he realized that, he tried to um, let everyone be aware of it in such a way, but that also I think was part of him being assassinated, killed, because he was
he was letting everybody know what was really going on, even though he was his rank. I'm thinking of using people to go along with the being togetherness and desegregation. But when he realized what was really going on, then I'm hoping that if he was into believing in the Lord of hosts, it was allowed to him to start to see that happening. And then they took him out.
Yeah, well, he wasn't believing in the Lord of hosts. He was dealing with JC. He wasn't dealing with the Lord of hosts. And then the thing about it, like I said, people don't look at it, but look at this guy now, Abraham Torrey. Where you come from? Like, where you come from? Same way with King. Where you come from? So these people, like I said, they pros at that. Same way with the hearts. They know where all the volatile areas on the earth at. They know how to start a volcano. They know how to start a hurricane. They even know the areas where it's how to start a war. They know all the trouble areas. They got all that down packed. They know just where to go start a war at. They know where to go, just where to go to start an earthquake or a hurricane. They know how to do it. All this they got that all in their playbook. And they know just where to go get a revolutionary at. Because they concoct it. They bring them on the scene. Right.
Yes, shalom. Yes, sir. So when Ibrahim Torrey first came on, mentioning his name, I did look up his growing, what they had on his little background. And it said that him and his father was out in the field area. And then I guess the ones who come and just kill people, the guerrillas or whatever they call those people, they were out there and they killed his father and he took and ran all the way to his parent house. Um, and then that's when he wanted to um, basically do this, going back and trying to save everybody and things like that. That was the first thing I read on it. But I went back to look for it, and it doesn't show anything no more about that. Not about his father being killed, and he was 7 or 8, I believe, and then going back to his mom, and they wasn't even having money. They were like very poor. So, but I was trying to find it again and I couldn't find it. So, like you said, things were put out there now with him, because they don't
Exactly.
mention about his life prior to, you know, right now. They don't go back when he was a kid on
Right.
how his father passed and how his mother, uh, they lived in a little hut house and things like that.
Right. Oh yeah, they built the case and they started with these people long before they even come on the scene. They already dealing with them. It's like with Obama. They've been dealing with him forever and a day before he came on the scene. They had already prepped him and primed him. So, but because of the way we come into this system and deal with it, we don't see those things because we got too many other things that we dealing with. So we can't. A lot of people can't fathom that. But these people, like the man said, they got a machine, well greased machine, and they working 25 to 50 years ahead of everybody else. So they setting stuff all up. Don't let them just pop up out the blue. It's already they've been setting it up the whole time. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. I appreciate the videos that were played on Sabbath, and you guys have already talked about a lot, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But Brother Leonard, in the video about the how Christianity relates to Buddhism, I appreciated that because of just how much in the New Testament it's almost like, for lack of better words, Jesus is a bum the entire time in the New Testament. And I know in my mind, I had always thought, well, how is this possible? How is this person that they're depicting as almighty and all powerful, and trying to claim to be the same almighty and all powerful God from the Old Testament? I don't understand why he's walking around like a bum.
Right.
And I was really taught while I was growing up in the church that there's some scripture where Paul says something about he knows how to live with a lot and a little. I can't quote it. And I kid you not, listening to the lesson from yesterday, I remember that that's pretty much what we're taught to do. No matter how bad life is, it's okay, because that's okay. And it's weird because now we have all of these prosperity gospel churches now, but
Right.
that's what I grew up with. It was almost normal to have 100 churches in the Black community, but everybody be poor, because we were just learning to live by meager means. And apparently that was normal, and that was quote unquote Christ-like.
Right.
And
You set the standard.
yes. And I always thought that was incorrect. And so the lesson, the first time I watched it, it connected a lot of dots to me, because I'm like, I don't even understand. I know the New Testament and this whole thing is fake, but why would you even get to this point? And so I appreciated the Sabbath evening class, because it helped connect those dots, where that story came from, that it was something that was already created even before the Greek Testament came into existence. There were already people that were giving up life as the Creator made it to try to seek power by some other means. Right. And it also connected the dots about why there's a lot of priests molesting little boys. Exactly. Because according to them, they are some form of Buddha. They are stoic. They don't need all these things that other human beings need, but they do. They're men, to be quite frank. They're men. And if they were to get somebody pregnant, then that would tell on them. So what are they doing? They're molesting little boys. And then I thought, well, maybe they don't care that they're doing it, because that's what their teachers have been doing to begin with.
It's part of their culture. It's part
exactly.
of
Yes, sir.
culture. That's why it ain't gonna stop. Yeah. And then, like I said, when nobody, when these things are revealed, you got these lunatics out there that's headstrong about Christianity, but when the evidence are presented itself, they can't handle it. So what do we have on, JC? We've been looking at this all our life, but never connected the dots. He got a toga on. He don't have no.
Yes, sir.
He don't have no Hebrew clothes on. He got a toga on. And so, like I said, that ties him to Caesarian. That's who Caesarian. Caesarian he went to the monastery in the monastery up in the Himalaya Mountains from 12 years old to 30. He was raised by monks, so he the one came back with the toga on. And then it was already prophesied that a man, a rich man, was going to come from the east, which is Maitreya. When you understand, when you got to go and do all the research on Buddhism, then once you start doing the research on Buddhism, then it's just everything just hits you in the face. But because we don't never do that, none of our forefathers, nobody never did that. So, but you do when you see when you go and do the story on Sandaka, the guy the one that became Buddha, everything he done, it's all Buddhism. And when the Greeks came on the scene, they ran head over heels into that stuff. Then when you understand synchronization, they took that along with the Horus, the Egyptian culture, all that fused together. That's how you get Christianity. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I had a question from the Thursday, the Women's Advanced Bible Study on the sister line. There was talks about you played a clip, an audio clip that was played about Christians coming from Africa, or Christianity specifically, not Christians, but Christianity coming from Africa. There was also talk about Gnostics. Egypt and Ethiopia was mentioned. With all that, Brother Leonard, who and what are the Gnostics? Because there, there's talk about Canaan being from Japhet, and Japhet being from Cain. But if Cain himself lost his melanin, how do I say this? Are Gnostics white? Is this a white group that started Christianity while they were in Africa?
Well, Gnosticism is just like with Buddhism and all that. All those different religions. So our culture is not a religion, but what they've done is they took our culture and took a lot of characteristics from it, and the same way they did with the Egyptian culture and the Buddhism, they put it all together. So when the Greeks came on the scene, they the culprits. When they came on the scene, they synchronized everything. That's what they do. So when they came on the scene, they ran head over heels into Buddhism, right? And then from Buddhism, they came into Egypt. Well, when they came into Egypt, the Egyptians, they personified everything. Like, for example, they personified the sun. They knew that the sun wasn't human, but they personified it. So when these Greeks came, because they ass backwards, they took the sun out the sky and made a man. That's where you get the Black Madonna and Child. That's where you get Christo from. They made a man, the actual man. So when I don't know how much you know about the Pope, they got this secret chamber they go into, and they worship the Black Madonna and Child, because they know that's the origins of Christianity.
Yes, sir. I saw that, and I will say, in the midst of seeking and trying to find what's true, I am one of those people that was like, oh, okay, so Jesus is real and black. Because I saw that in the midst of trying to seek what is true about this book I'm reading. Yes, sir.
Right. So that's how you get Gnosticism. Gnosticism is tied to when it's a just like they created the different religions off of Buddhism. They had Gnosticism. The Gnostics, they believe that when they took this the sun and made a man out of it, that's the beginning rings of having a man die for our sins. So they took that man, they took out the sky, and they took with, have you ever heard of gnosis?
I have.
That's knowledge. That's tied to Gnosticism. They said, all that was tied together. Well, when Constantine, the Bible and Book of Daniel tell you the beast that received the womb in the head and did live, that was the Roman Republic. The fourth beast, when it first came on the scene, was the Roman Republic, where those three races of giants, the Vandals, the Visigoths, and there's another group, they broke through Hadrian Wall, sacked Rome. That's the head. He's talking about going to receive a womb in the head. They sacked Rome, and Rome was divided into 4 different parts. 4 different men ruled over Rome. Well, Constantine was one of them. He subdued the other 3, just like it tells you in the Bible. He subdued the other 3. After he subdued them, he wanted one God. He had a system he wanted in place. He wanted one God, one religion, and one emperor. He was the emperor. Well, he had to get a God and he had to get a religion. So he went and stole the Gnostic religion. That's the people that they saying, the Christians they saying in catacombs. They wiped the whole Gnostic religion out in order to stole it and made Christianity out of it. But they tell you that those Gnostics that those people that was in that was in the arena and all that was Christians. No, they was Gnostics. They stole their religion because they had to get rid of them because the Gnostics had more knowledge, like what's going on right now with the Hebrews, with Christianity. You got the people in the church, they can't converse with the Hebrew Israelites because they in the scriptures. They got the scriptures. So they want us to go away. Well, it was the same way back then with the Gnostics. They wanted the Gnostics, they telling them, no, this is our religion, you just stole it. So Constantine came in and he killed all of them. And then took the religion. That's how you get Christianity. And he merged Buddhism, that 50, I think they call it it's in Egyptian Book of the Dead. He took Buddhism, Egyptian Book of the Dead, Gnosticism, all of them and fused them together, and the Tanakh, and fused it together. That's how you get Christianity.
Yes, sir. And talking about the Gnostics and the catacombs and even the Essenes, I had a question about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Are those in themselves true scripture, or those creation of like Essenes and Gnostics?
Well, that's how you get Christianity. They already was dealing with Buddhism. They was dealing with the Egyptian religion, Gnosticism, and then the Essenes. All of them. That's what the Essenes was doing out there in Qumran. It just goes over people's head. But they found these scrolls, but they found thousands upon thousands of fragments in these down off in these like cisterns, like, because they redoing the scriptures, tearing up the originals and throwing them down there. That's how you had all the fragments.
Okay, so those are not original scriptures.
No,
those are things that people had fragmented because
right.
They used it to make up their own story. Okay.
They crossing, like I was saying, that was the purpose of burning down the Library of Alexandria. That's where all these people was at. These monks and these Edomites, these Essenes, they was in the Library of Alexandria doing up all this. Doing all these scriptures or redoing it, rewriting it in these monasteries. Once we were ran out, that's why the timeline, and nobody seems to understand the timeline. That wasn't us in the land of Israel in 70 AD. We left in 143 BC. That's when they got a hold to our records. And so they fusing our records with what they already done with Buddhism and all that. They got our records, and that's how they was able to tie the New Testament with the Old Testament, because once they got our records, but the timeline don't fit because they skewed it. You know what I'm saying? They telling you those are Israelites in the land in 70 AD. Them ain't no Israelites. The Israelites had left in 143 BC, and once you put all them timelines together, put those books in the proper place where they're supposed to be at, then everything just flows. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's how they go.
Speaking about the people, Edomites and whoever else might have been in the land during that time, I appreciate the morning Sabbath class, because you've talked about the Sapien and Titus before, but after that Sabbath recording was played, I had to. Sometimes I have to look stuff up so many times because I'm looking up many different things before I can connect dots. But I did not know that Sapien and his son Titus had no ties to anybody else that was ruling. It's when I read the history behind it, it's like, oh, this just had to be the Lord of Hosts. That literally did what you said in the lesson, which was use these men to kick them out. Edom came in, Edom came out, but they had no ties to anybody. So here was this
they had ties to one person, Josephus. He the one brought it on. Josephus picked them. That's what I'm saying. They got it all scattered where people can't connect the dots. But Josephus, like I said, You got these brothers now, supposed to be waking up. They trying to incorporate Josephus. Josephus a Edomite. Josephus is no different than Tertullian and the church fathers. They Edomites. So Josephus told Titus and Vespasian what to do, how to become in power. That's how they came into power. They listening to Josephus. Oh yeah.
That's something.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go to what's the name of that book, AJ? The one by Josephus.
Is it the true authorship of the New Testament?
No, it's a book that Josephus wrote about I can't think of the name of it. I got the book. But anyway,
the history of the Jews?
No, it's another one. What it is when you crossbreed. Well, if you get the book, what the book what I was about what's the book we got about Christianity, how they made Christianity.
Yeah, now that one is the true authorship of the New Testament.
Okay, so anyway, Josephus got a book, and he's telling the story of how Titus and Vespasian came into Jerusalem and what they did, right? And then you understand that the way when he wrote that, when you take the two books and you lay them down and look at the New Testament, Titus is Jesus Christ. Titus went to the Sea of Galilee and fished. They would kill a bunch of men. They were fishing them out of the sea. They fished them out. Titus is the one doing the fishing. They done came back and they done, like I was saying, all this stuff is crossbred and it's literary work. That's what Josephus is. He's just like the guy that wrote the New Testament for King James. What his name?
Yes, sir. King James.
No, the guy. It's another guy. King James went and got.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Josephus is the same type of dude. Like I got to look in my thing, but it's a book that Josephus wrote. I think it's the Life and Times or something, but Josephus wrote it when you do the cross comparison to what the campaign that Titus and Vespasian did. He was actually prophesying about it. He showed them how he showed Titus and Vespasian the art of how prophecy worked, how to prophesy about things. Like I was saying, they took a bunch of our scriptures and make it look like, for example, they making Jesus look like he prophesied when he says that these stone and not one stone gonna be upon another one. It already happened. They already got the records on it, but they making it look like Jesus prophesied it because they didn't went back 500 years. See what I'm saying? It's already happened. And they sitting there with the records, and they got the records, but they making it look like it ain't happened yet by the way they worded it, by the way they rearranged the books, and make it look like Jesus is prophesying about the temple being tore down in 70 AD. When the temple was tore down by Antioch Epiphanes. Yeah.
Brother Leonard, the classes yesterday, and the recordings that were played yesterday, and then some events that happened in my own personal life, it made me think of when I was in school and they would say things like reading is fundamental. We used to have the Book It program where you could read and get some free pizza from Pizza Hut.
Right.
And it dawned on me before the class, and it hit hard again listening to the recordings during Sabbath. Just reading is fundamental. However, just like from the beginning when we got over here, we're stuck with reading whatever they hand us.
Right, exactly.
And it's so frustrating.
And they set you up before you read. Before you even read, they set you up. They give you a verbal. They give you a whole bunch of verbal lies first, with your with your imagination. So you pretty much
Yes, sir.
that's like when you read the New Testament. When you read about Jesus, you're not reading the Old Testament. You started in the New Testament. So you brainwashed already when you do that. You're not starting in the old. You're starting with Adam from the creation, and then lead up to that to get your own understanding of how Jesus is. You start in the New Testament. You're born, and your mama and everybody they already programmed your mama to tell you there's Christ. So you just going through the motions, but they already did a number on your mind already before you even start reading.
Yes, sir. Because
Right.
I remember earlier on when people used to tell me that JC's not real, that I definitely was one of them saying, "Oh, you're going to hell." Like that was
Right.
all I could tell them.
Oh yeah.
But it was something to find out that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were books that were written after Paul, and then I got confused. Like, how is there history that tells us that, but we still read in this book?
Right.
It's frustrating. And I said
You
all
gotta
that
get to a certain
because
place to see that. You gotta get to a certain place to see that. You
yes,
just ain't
sir.
gonna see it. You ain't gonna just see that. You know what I'm saying? You have to get to you gotta get to the everything gotta be reconstructed. You gotta start back over again and things gotta be reconstructed, and then finally you get to a point where it's inevitable. You can see that, no, these people in the hoodwink me. That's how that works.
And that started with me this week, and this is my last comment before I piggyback on what Sister Cheryl mentioned. But it started with me this week. I had a sibling who texted our family thread, which is all my siblings and my parents, inquiring why exactly do we call God God and she was reading the Old Testament, when there's names for him in the Old Testament. So everybody responded to it however they thought they should respond, or nothing because they had no answer, which I see with a lot of people, which is fine. When you don't know, you should say nothing and just go do the research. Right. But she was researching for herself. And this weekend, she told me, this Thursday, she told me that our dear mother, they were on the phone talking about it. And she told her to just get off the phone with her. And Brother Leonard, she had a friend that said, well, so it's an older, like somebody our dad's age that looks after her. She lives in Oklahoma City. He said, well, that's how it is sometimes, They don't like when you start reading because they don't have an answer to give you. But
right. Exactly.
That's where we're at. If you don't read it for yourself, like you said, if you're not in that space to connect the dots, then you're just lost. But my mom didn't want to hear nothing about it.
Okay.
But she had nothing to refute it with because what my sister was saying was true. Sister Cheryl had mentioned something about, I don't know if it was Martin Luther King or somebody else, but something about how, I can't remember. My comment is, though, that sometimes people are used and they think they're doing something that they're not. And I noticed that's part of the trickery and the deceit of the powers that be, that they let people think they're actually doing something when they've already planned it. They let you think it's your plan. They let you think it's something you came up with. They let you think that there's some great humane reason for why you're doing what you're doing when they have some disgusting reasoning behind it, unfortunately.
Right. That's the prime example I was just talking about. When they bring these leaders on the scene, they didn't brainwash them to think that they got some kind of high calling, like you just said with King. The reason why he was going along with it because they had brainwashed him that he was doing some kind of a higher calling for black folks or whatever. But once he got up there and he saw what they had set him up, then he tried to retract on it, but it was too late. And they do that all the time. They bring people up, get them to a certain point, and then once they got them where they want them at, and they done what they wanted, then it's over with. They did it to Michael Jackson. Oh yeah. Because all they're gonna do is get the money, all the fame and the wealth that Michael Jackson had. He was just building it up for them. When it's all said and done, because they killed him, they got all the royalties, they got all the stuff, they getting all the money off of it from him. I say, you know, these black artists and famous people, they more valuable to these people more dead than alive. They get all the royalties off of it. You know what I'm saying? And they've been doing that.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Last thing, the Belt and Road Initiative, that came up in one of the recordings yesterday, and I completely forgot that was a thing. I just wanted to know, Brother Leonard, what was your thoughts with just all the leaders in all these nations and how they're teaming up, but also going to war. Um, how that's playing a role on the Belt and Road Initiative. Shalom.
Well, it's in the scriptures that we are now in the. They told us that the 10 toes in the book of Daniel was the 10 kings that's gonna take their power in the last days, and they're gonna come together with the Antichrist, right?
Yes, sir.
But the Ezra, the Lord of Hosts, revealed the same understanding of the four beasts, but he went more in depth with it with Ezra, and he said these 10 kings at the end is in succession, one after another one. So right now, and we can look and see that's what happened because Great Britain was ruling. The pound was the number one currency. Then America came in. America came out of Great Britain. So Great Britain was the eighth beast from the fourth beast, out of the fourth beast. Then America was the ninth. Now we're looking at the last 10th and final beast coming on the scene. And they're using the Road to the Belt initiative to do all that. They controlling all the seaports and connecting all that. As a matter of fact, it's already here because in China and already superseded America as far as GDP and all that. They didn't succeed them. It's just a matter of, and we, like I was talking to AJ the other day about, look at what's happening now. The same thing happened at the end of World War II. They just eased. They did a slow demo job on Great Britain and brought America in. Now they're doing a slow demo job on America and they bringing China in.
Yes, sir.
They make and we get all bent out of shape because of the chaos. But that's where they making. That's where they make their trillions and billions of dollars in from tearing up everything, tearing the world up, and then bringing in a new power, and then rebuilding everything. That's how they make their money, and that's how they keep everybody. That's how they keep everybody in the categories they want them in. Keep the poor because they'll come in, tear everything up, bankrupt everybody, then start over again. That's how they keep the money where it's at.
Would you say that the war in Iran from the United States and Israel was an attempt to stop the Belt and Road Initiative, or those are completely unrelated?
Not well. When you understand the bankers are the ones behind all this. These people have you thinking we looking at it from on the outside, looking in, and we thinking it at odds. No, it's a group of people, these Edomites and so-called bankers, that all is connected. They're connecting all the dots. I played a video, I think it was Friday night, about the bankers on the Friday night show. How the bankers connected, how the bankers got together. They was the ones, they was the architect behind Germany. They brought Germany up to where they wanted it. They used Hitler and bankrupt the whole world. They had did it previously with Napoleon. This ain't nothing new. That's how they operate. These in the scriptures, that's who the Most High is talking to. These bankers, these Edomite bankers. They're the ones orchestrating the whole thing. They in back in the 80s, when what made America great was these same companies that funded Hitler. Then after they funded Hitler and brought America on the scene, then they started projecting toward China. So in 1980s, late 80s, Caterpillar, DuPont, all them countries went to China. All those companies went to China. It was already setting up the full beast. I mean, the final China then. They deliberately took all the manufacturing out of here and sent it to China. Then 10 years or so later, China come on the scene. So we see them bringing America down. They don't need it no more. It's a Frankenstein monster, and they bringing up China. It's a cycle they got. And you can even go back to we don't think like that, and so we don't see those things. But they killed Julius Caesar in the Senate. Shit, he wasn't no different than when they killed JFK. They killed Julius Caesar in the Senate because he was a people's person. He was giving the people money, and he was rising too fast. And those same people, their great grandfathers, whatever, bankers at the time, they got together and they killed Julius Caesar. And that's how you understand who. In the story with JC, JC is Caesarian. So when he got into the temple, them Khazarian was there with the. That's why he turned all the tables over, went crazy because of them the ones that killed his daddy, Julius Caesar. They got the story, like I said, with Julius Caesar, they watered it down. But the actual story was when Caesarion came there and saw them in the temple and selling all those things, that he recognized them. He knew who they was. They were the people, the Jews, Edomites, not Israelites, Jews that had killed his father, murdered his father in the Senate. So these people been around forever. Assassination after assassination, redirecting the world, redirecting everything. So by now they got it down packed. What you see them doing with the Rolling Belt Initiative and all that, and what you see them doing with the Iran war, they pros at that. The only way we get out of this is the Lord of hosts going to have to show up. Their time going to have to run out.
Yes.
Like, I mean, look at that, all the bombing, as small as Israel is over there, all the bombing that Iran supposed to be done to it. How is it still there? Don't make sense. Okay. You got anything, AJ, before we fly it out?
Brother Leonard, was that book The Life of Flavius Josephus? That's one of the books I got that's titled.
No, that's one too, but it's another name. When I hear it, if I go back there and look, I hear it, I know it because I got it. It's you got a list of these books?
I got the Life of Flavius Josephus, the Jewish Antiquities, the Jewish War.
Yeah, that's it. The Antiquity of the Jews.
Okay, yeah. Yes,
Antiquity of the Jews. That's where that's where it's in there.
Okay.
He tell a story when Titus and Vespasian came in and conquered Jerusalem in 70 AD. And then when you write the divide, that it's the same story in the New Testament. But Titus is the Messiah. He the one came and fishing people out of the river. He the fisher of men. Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And that song?
Sure.
It's also in that other book I was telling you about. They had I got a video on it. Remember the book right here. Let me see if it's right here.
Is it that small book?
Oh, it's a book that telling the story of how Jesus was concocted and how Christianity came into play. You know the guy, I can't think of the guy. I mean, I can't think of the name of the book. Yeah, it was a video. It's a remember it's on YouTube. It's a video pertaining talking about it, but it's got a name on it. Can't remember. It's been a while since I've been dealing with it.
Yeah, I got one. I got one from a video you did. I bought the book from one of the videos
What's the
where
name of it?
Aurelius Calpurnius Piso. It
Yeah,
says,
yeah, that story. It's
yeah,
about the
yes, sir.
Pico family, but the name of the CD is it's got a name on it.
So that one, that's the true authorship of the New Testament.
Right. Piso family.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
And it say that's Flavius Josephus, his pen name.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Same way with the guy for King James.
Shakespeare and Bacon.
Right. Yeah, Bacon is the same person,
Right.
and they literary geniuses, and not only that, they conjurers. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
conjurers. They dealing with the cult and all that. It's like the guy that wrote Morals and Dogma, Apple Pike.
Right.
They're getting these skills from, you got to go back to the Greek world. That's where you get theater from. See what I'm saying? They summon these spirits. They know how to do all that. And they summon these spirits and they act it out. That's where acting come from. That's what they're doing it now. They conjure these spirits.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood. All that tied to that.
Mm. Okay.
I had mentioned that before. Which is something to think about. Was we see how Enoch dealing with wicked spirits. They tell you where they come from, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
But we don't see David, Abraham, none of them dealing with that. Then all of a sudden, you get to the New Testament, JC dealing with them.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So that's a dead giveaway too, right there, because of how you ban the book of Enoch, but you got JC over here dealing with all these wicked ass spirits that Enoch told you about.
Right.
See what
And
I'm
he's the
saying?
son of man.
Right. So they got away with it back then, but the Most High is pouring His Spirit out on His people now, and His knowledge is way greater than theirs, and they looking like fools. Because you know what I'm saying? Like I said, people educational level was low back then. You can tell them that. And then they were the only ones reading. Nobody else could read. Everybody else was illiterate. But now the literacy rate is up. So it's up to like at least everybody got a high school education. People can read and reason a lot more now than they did back then. It's so much stuff now that just don't add up. None whatsoever. Don't fit. You know.
Right. It don't add up to me. Because in Brotherland, when I was reading a little of this book too, that the true authorship of the New Testament,
right.
And I mean everything in here is so revealing. But
right.
when how it says in here, so the New Testament pictures the Jews as enemies of JC and of Paul and of the message of the gospel, right?
Right.
But like
Exactly.
even that is like weird to me because the Jews is supposed to be the Hebrew Israelites and JC supposed to be from them. But why are they enemies? And I don't know, just none of the New Testament makes sense since I understand the story of the Old Testament. But I see what they were trying to do.
Right, right. Another thing you have to understand too. Remember Japhet, and then they say the Isles of the Greeks. They was warlike people. They're the same people, but they got a problem with each other. They warlike people. So the same thing with the Edomites intermingle with them, right? So it's a power struggle. Look at Cleopatra life. She killing all her brothers and sisters. That's who they are. So then when you understand that Esau got 12 sons, so that's his cousins. That's or when what his name, not Pontius Pilate, Hadrian. Hadrian wanted to take control of Jerusalem. He wanted to become king of the Jews, right? So he went to his cousin. He was the king. He was the king in Rome, and he gave him 3 legions to come back and conquer Rome, conquer Judea. That's his brother or his daddy people. His daddy brother. See what I'm saying? So they fighting back and forth over power, but they kin. See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The same way with look at all the hell that broke loose when they found out about Africa and how they carved Africa up. Them was all kinfolks. Them was Edomites. They had all kind of wars over there. They were trying to greed. See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Even we talked about the Dodecian Wars. Before Julius Caesar,
after Alexander?
Yeah, Alexander died.
Yes, sir.
That was his kinsman. His kinsman, the 4 generals was his kinsman. Well, all kind of war, hell broke loose because of overpower.
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Sure.
Is there something?
It is.
All right. So everybody good?
I have one question, Shalom. Were there more than just one? Is there more than one just Buddhism? Is it more within Buddhism? Is it like Buddhism? Is it other names for it, or just Buddha?
No, it's two. When like with Chris, like with we got the Old and New Testament. Our book was the Old Testament. When the Greeks came, because they synchronized everything, that's how you get the New Testament. They synchronized the New Testament off of the Old Testament. They created from the Old Testament the New Testament, the 2 books. But everybody think it's one. That's what they didn't brainwash them. But when they synchronize our records, that's how you get the New Testament. They're 2 totally different. One of them was originated in Greek, and the other one is Hebrew. Well, when they came on the scene, when they first came in contact with Buddhism, it was one Buddhism. That's the guy. That's the black guy with the little beads in his head. Now it's 2 Buddhisms. You got Mahayana Buddhism, and then you got the original one. They created 2 different Buddhisms. That's where Maitreya come from. That's the original character that Jesus is. He's Maitreya, which come out of Buddhism. That's who Caesarion is. He was in Rome. His daddy. He had all his people was Roman generals and they was royalty, and he got caught up in Augustus Caesar and all that. Is Cleopatra sent him to the monastery up in the Himalaya mountains. So his whole life changed. It went from him being a soldier and a warrior to he was raised by the monks, and that was prophesied that a man from the east was gonna come to the monastery and he's gonna come out and he's gonna be Maitreya. That's who Jesus is. That's who Caesarion is. But like I said, who knows this? Because they ain't been dealing and dabbling with that. Because the Most High, yeah. It's all this stuff I'm saying it ain't all you have to do is go look at it. Look it up. And it's gonna hit you right in the face. You got the original Buddha that's black with the beads in his head. Now you got a Buddha, you got Mahayana Buddhism. He's a white Buddhist. We got blonde hair. Just like with JC and they got what they did with us. The Greeks concocted the new Buddhism. Two different Buddhism. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Shalom. So right now, when we were saying about the last, the last thing is bronze, which is Rome, which is what we're in right now, correct?
No, bronze is Greek.
Greek. So what is Rome? Because we're in
Rome
Rome.
is iron.
Iron. So now we're
Clay.
in iron
Clay
right now.
Right. So we at the part where the iron and the clay is mixed.
Okay.
That's where we at right now. 10 toes.
So this audience that United States and was trying to capture for us to, far as going into the religious part or believing, they're pulling it away because I know, like Brittany said before, Sister Brittany said, how many churches are out. I used to live different places, like Milwaukee had church on every corner. So right now, it isn't those mega churches out there, which T.D. Jakes had one at one point, Creflo Dollar and Joel Osteen. All of those mentioned those three, they out in the news in the limelight has all got their name tarnished at this point, and they're trying to bring them back, but it's not. So, what are they trying to do when we're looking at the Most High coming about in our lives and getting the truth and throwing away, eating this meat and throwing away the bones and trying to establish what we need to do so we can be on one accord? I know. So my question is, the government and church, or the government and religion, or government and truth. How we gonna separate that? Because I noticed that something happens when it seems like things are gonna settle down. Hurrah! We got something else going on, or something has already been going on, and then they'll put the spotlight on what was happening in Iran, put the spotlight on what's going on, and because at the same time Ukraine was and Germany was going about. I mean, Ukraine and Russia, there was hashing with Israel fighting with all the other Iran, but that was not in the limelight until they cooled down on Russia and Ukraine. But Russia and Ukraine is still going on, correct?
Right. It's all part of the program. That's what I said. They bring about chaos. It seems like it's chaos, but it's a strategy. It's a plan they got. So that's what that is. I mean, when you start talking about after you get in proper amount of information, you already know anything coming from the church or mega pastors. That's like you said, it's bones. You throw it away. You don't deal with it. You already know where that's coming from because those people tied into them. The only reason they're able to get the mega churches, they allow them to get it. But we at the point now where they don't need the mega church no more. That's why they're bringing it down. They just puppets. So you looking for discernment to not be caught up in situation with them when the Most High Lord do come back. Anything to do with that system, you shun it, spurn it. All right, that's how that works. Okay, so everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
You got anything, AJ?
Shalom, no sir. I'm good.
So I'm say shalom, everybody. We got our Tuesday Tanaka news briefing on Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. I see everybody then. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.